friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ginny Mae, the Intergalactic Supreme Goddess of Guest Service, and I thank you so much for joining. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much. You are so welcome here. We have a channel that is talking about service and great tips so you can sell more, so you can make more tips, and also so you can have a funner time at work. I would love to talk to you today about some really stupid ways to lose a guest forever. I know that we are not the only restaurant in town, and definitely you are not either. Your guest can go to any other restaurant, and probably there's one right next door that they could go to as well. So maybe your food is excellent and just the best of whatever it is, but if your service is cruddy or they don't get the attention that they want, they might not complain to you about it, but they might just go to the next place, even if the food isn't as good. So there's some really kind of stupid ways to lose a guest. There's 4 of them that I'd like to go through today. And number 1 is ignoring the guest. Just don't acknowledge them when they come in, don't look. Also, if you're on the phone talking to somebody and you're just looking down and trying to pretend like, oh, I'm not here and I don't need to be disrupted, that is not the way to go either. Remember that when you're on the phone, you can always make eye contact to everyone around you, and you can also smile on the phone, which you should be doing anyway because it comes through the phone. But when you are smiling, if you have a mask on, they can still see you're smiling in your eyes. You have the other hand usually free, so you can kind of just, point that you're on the phone, or if you're on a headset or whatever. And so then they know, hey, you're on the phone, and you will be with them as soon as you are done. Another way to ignore your guest is just that you might get a little bit stressed out because you're really, really busy or whatever's going on. And in that case, a lot of us kind of close in and pretend that we're not really there. Sometimes some of us, when we get a little nervous, could kind of hide behind the tray as we walk by, or we could use it as a shield and look down, because we just need some time to ourselves to regroup just a little bit. But this is not the time to do it on the floor. If you need a couple seconds, go behind the scenes somewhere and take your little mental break, because these different body languages like this or kind of like this, of course, is showing the guest or kind of telling the guests in a way that you don't want to be there and you don't want to help them. It's another way of saying, hey, I'm trying to ignore you. And ignoring people that are coming into your restaurant, of course, is a really good way to lose a guest. Remember, we talked about at some point we have the 1 meter rule. And so that means if someone is within 1 meter to me, I always want to say something. Have 3 things that you can say. You can say, for example, welcome, or are you getting help right now? Can I help you find something? Or I hope you're enjoying your food. Not all of that's going to get you involved to start taking a drink order or something like that. If they see you're going by with a tray with many things on it, they can see that you're actually quite busy, but hey, you acknowledge them in passing, or when you passed their table, made eye contact. At least you just said something, oh, enjoy your food. Oh, that's my favorite. I hope you really like it, for example. If they're farther than 1 meter away, hey, just make eye contact and smile, because you're gonna look like the person that sees everything. And everyone wants to have the waiter that is seeing and also acknowledging everything, because it looks like you really have your stuff together. Number 2 way to lose a guest is also just make excuses. Of course, we make mistakes all the time in the restaurant business. Don't beat yourself up about that, but the most important is that you know how to handle them. So when your guest starts to complain, number 1 is never make an excuse. Yes, there might be a total great excuse that the kitchen was burning down or something like that, and of course that might be something you tell to your guest because you'd have to evacuate. But maybe it's something smaller that's big in your mind, but to the guest, it doesn't really matter, because that's our fault. That's not their fault. And a lot of times in the restaurant business, there are rules that we have in our restaurant. If you wanted it this way, you would have had to order it this way. Or if you want it like this, then you would have had to done this in order to get it. And I am not loving all these rules that we have. Why can't we just give the guest what they want without having to jump through all these different hoops all the time? I really like how Disneyland one time wrote or said somewhere that as long as the guest doesn't get hurt and nobody breaks a major law or a major policy, then do it, whatever it takes to make that guest happy. always think back like, oh, if you're just opening up a restaurant and the first guest was coming in, you would do everything possible to make that guest love your restaurant and want to come back. But if you've been open for a long time, many years, for example, and you're really busy every single day, that sense of urgency starts to go away. And even though you think, oh, they're gonna have to follow that rule and I don't care, and blah, 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 and if they get mad about it, then they can just leave and not come back. No, we need all the guests we can get. We need to remember that. So that sense of urgency and making it happen for the guest in that way, not making excuses, is going to help you retain a lot more guests. Number 3 stupid way to lose a guest is to just be talking to colleagues. And we've talked about it before that somewhere in your restaurant there is like this little area where all the colleagues kind of gather a little bit, maybe chit chat about what happened last weekend, what's going to happen after the shift, or maybe even talking about the not so nice guest sitting at table 21. No, no, no. Try not to go into that area. Try to figure out where is that area. It's usually maybe up by the bar where people get their drinks and have to maybe stand in line a little bit to get them. But try to avoid that at all costs, because if you're not there, you can't get into the conversation, right? And even though you think, oh, my guests are not seeing me or they can't hear me right now, they are looking around maybe for you, and if they spot you in the little group of colleagues and they also need an extra drink or they're out of some different sauce and you're up there talking to colleagues and they're thinking, you know what, they don't care about me. They just care about what happened last weekend with their colleagues. So try not to even get into the group. There's plenty of time after work. Hopefully you get a drink after work. You can talk about it, and you can talk about all the different guest experience you have, make plans from before, and just let loose and let all your frustrations out. But remember, behind the scenes where the guest can never hear you, because if the guest ever hears you complaining about something about another guest or them, then that is also an extra stupid way of just losing a guest. The number 4 stupid way to lose a guest is eating food or drinking. And I know you think, you know what, we're human. We've been on this floor for 12 hours. We're running around. I haven't drank anything. I haven't even gone to the bathroom, let alone eat anything. And now in the kitchen, they have something in the kitchen that was a mistake, and I get to have a little bite of that. And right now, because I'm starving to death, I'm gonna eat anything. And that is one of my favorite appetizers at the restaurant. So of course, I'm gonna take a bite, but because I'm in a hurry, I might be chewing that as I go out of the kitchen. Even though they didn't see it in my mouth, or I even have a mask on, you can tell when people are eating behind a mask, and you definitely can tell when people are eating something if they don't have a mask on. Otherwise, it might look like you're chewing gum. And chewing gum makes us look like a cow that's chewing grass. And you definitely don't want to be chewing gum and cracking it and whatever when you're on the floor. So no gum and no eating on the floor. And make sure if you did eat salad or something, it's not stuck in your teeth. I mean, I hope there is a mirror somewhere before you leave the kitchen or wherever your break room was that you could just have a little bite to eat. Check your teeth, check what's on it to make sure that your smile is there and everything looks really nice. If you have a mask, doesn't matter, but still you can feel it. That's just gross. So check yourself before you go out to make sure that you're totally ready for the floor and that you're able to give that experience that you really want to give. Drinking. I love to drink water. I forget a lot about drinking water, and I know if I forget drinking my water and I have a super long shift, all of a sudden towards the end of my shift, I start getting really, really tired. I think that is one of the first signs of dehydration. So make sure that you have maybe a water bottle, something that your restaurant allows in an area. Hopefully you have somewhere where you can get a drink here and there, so that you keep on putting in some water. I don't think drinking soda and a bunch of other things on your shift is the best thing, because that's also going to help dehydrate you out even more. Water is probably the best thing, and drink a lot of it. It will keep your energy up, but also it might not be a good idea to drink things in the restaurant itself. Sometimes if you're behind the bar, you might have it down here, you take a little sip. People are still watching you, and right now in these days we need to disinfect after we do something like that, and that is just thinking of drinking a glass of water and then disinfecting, that's a whole little show in itself that people are watching. So why not just eliminate that and keep it behind the scenes and drink and eat when you're back there? Yes, we are humans and we do need to eat and drink, but this is also a show, and crazy enough, a lot of times in the show does not include waiters or waitresses drinking on the floor or eating. So we're gonna try to keep that behind the scenes if you possibly can. Hey, give this video a thumbs up because that really helps the YouTube algorithm to help find other people that might really be in need of some of these tips and tricks. And I thank you so much for joining us, and I really cross fingers that you don't lose any guests in a really stupid way. I hope you could use some of these tips. If you could, leave me a comment below, and I can't wait to see you next time. Have a awesome and amazing shift. I'm Ginny Mae, the Intergalactic Supreme Goddess of Guest Service, and I thank you so much for watching our video. Please give this video a thumbs up, and if you like more tips and tricks, click here and press on my face right here to subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell sign so you get notified every time I come out with a new video. Let's go out and give amazing service.